If you're looking for something fun for fall and you want a new, different look, then stay tuned. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do a haloed smoky eye. It's really pretty and it makes your eyes look nice and big and bright, so stay tuned. I'm starting off this look using my buff brush and my color correcting tinted moisturizer in medium. This is going to neutralize any redness in my skin. It's also got a sheer to medium coverage, so I can build it up to get a little bit more coverage if I prefer. It's oil-free, even though it is a moisturizing to the skin. So it's going to give me a nice glow. It's not going to be too matte for winter. I'm just going to buff it in. It's also got that Cineplex complex in it, so I'm getting some anti-aging as well as an SPF 30. Next, I'm going to make sure that I have nothing on my eyelids at all. And I'm going to go in with Pink Frost. And I'm going to use that from my lash line all the way to my brow bone. And then buff it in with a fluffy brush. This is going to cancel out any redness on my eyelids, camouflage any veins, and just give me a nice clean canvas to work with. Now I'm going to use Mulberry just in my crease. A very small amount, a little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to buff that in with my MAC 224 brush. I prefer to use a windshield wiper motion when I'm blending in the crease. This gives me even distribution of color and it also helps everything blend. Next, I'm going to take that same color Mulberry and I'm going to concentrate it on the outer corners of my lids. I'm going to leave that center area completely naked of color, so that way we can add that pop of color in later. Now we're going to blend it in just really gently with our tapered brush, the same one that we used to blend the Pink Frost in earlier. I'm really just kind of tapping it here and just flicking it very, very lightly just to kind of smooth it out. Next, I'm going in with Garnet. This is a deep burnished bronze color, and I'm going to go right on top of that Mulberry on my lids. This is going to make my look three-dimensional. It's also going to deepen it up. So we want to build that color in. If you try to go from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, it usually doesn't blend out as pretty, so I like to do it in a layering process. Now we're just going to blend it in the same as before, just kind of barely tapping it lightly just to move the color around. Don't need to blend a whole lot of it off because we're trying to build the color, not wipe it away. Now we're going to repeat that same exact step again with Garnet. By layering it this way, you get more control over the finished look and it doesn't go too dark too fast because it's easier to add color than it is to take it away. Now we're just going to blend it the same as before, barely tapping it just to kind of smooth it out. I'm using my large blending brush with no extra product on it, just to help blend it out a little bit further and make sure that it's a smooth transition between the Mulberry that I had in my crease and the Garnet that I just placed on my lid. I'm going to add a little bit more Garnet to my crease just to deepen it up a bit. Even though this is a daytime smoky look, I still want it to be really smoky. So I'm going to layer that right in the crease line just to kind of bridge it all together. Again, we're sticking with that windshield wiper motion. It's just the most natural way that your hands will move to blend everything in seamlessly. Now I can grab my foundation brush with no extra product on it and just use that to clean up any overflow of product. Now we're going to fill in the center part with Pink Opal Shimmer. We're just going to tap a tiny, tiny dot right there on that center portion where we didn't have any color before. You can pat this in with a flat brush, or you can use your ring finger. Just use very, very light pressure because we want the color to be very impactful and we don't want to blend it all the way off. Because I want it to be really, really shimmery and really impactful, I'm going to duplicate that last step and just repeat with the pink opal shimmer right in the center on top of the other coat. I'm loading up Onyx Shadow Sense on a fine lining brush, and I want to line really close to my lash line, as close as I can get, because I don't want to cover up any of the stuff going on my eyelid. I prefer Onyx Shadow Sense as a liner instead of other liquid eyeliners because this one dries down to a very matte finish. It's also budge proof and smudge proof like the rest of our Shadow Sense, and it gives me more of a velvety finish rather than that shiny finish that a lot of liquid eyeliners have. If the tail end of a winged liner is really a struggle for you, you can always go back and use a flat concealer brush or your foundation brush just to kind of clean up the end and make sure it's really tapered and really precise. Now I'm going to use Mulberry to line underneath my eyes. I'm going to concentrate this on the outer edges because I want it to mirror what I've done on the top because I want my eyes to look nice and open. So I'm going to take pink opal shimmer and just put a tiny dab right there in the middle, right underneath my pupils. Now I'm going to take Garnet and I'm going to go right on top of that Mulberry again, just like I did up top, only on the outer corners. I'm going to take a flat brush, just kind of smooth it out, make sure that it's nice and blended and gives me that nice smoky look. To give myself some color, I'm going to use Toasted Rose Blush Scents. A little bit goes a long way with these blushes, so you only need a tiny little dot on the back of your hand, and then use your blush brush to pick that up and blend it around on your skin. Toasted Rose is a really pretty plum tone. It's great for fall, it goes with all these fall looks, and it also gives me a little bit of color to my skin. What I like about it is that it's not going to smear all over my face and it's not going to break up and get patchy throughout the day like regular blush does. To get the most dramatic lashes for this look, I'm going to use our Lash Sense with Undersense. Undersense is a primer. It acts as a base coat, so it strengthens and conditions your lashes, but when paired with the Lash Sense mascara, it'll actually give you longer, thicker, more dramatic lashes. You can also layer it one layer on top of the other, and it's not going to get clumpy or flaky. All right, onto powder. We're just going to powder all over with our translucent powder, just a light dusting. Then I'm going to follow it with our bronze powder just to really warm up my face. I'm only going to hit it where the sun would naturally hit my face and on my chin. To make my skin look really glowy and fresh, I'm going to use our Pink Opal Shimmer Shadow Sense on my blush brush just a tiny bit, and I'm going to use it on the high planes of my face as a highlighter. So I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose, on the cleft of my lip, and right there on the high ends of my cheekbones, just to really brighten up my face. So when the light hits my skin, it's going to look nice and glowy. Your eyebrows frame your face, so you've got to fill in those brows. What I like to use is our Taupe Brow Sense. This is an awesome product. It's completely waterproof, so it does not budge or smudge. It's not going to sweat off. I can actually go swimming with it and it's not going to wear off throughout the day. The way that you'll use it, it's got the tip of it looks like an eyeliner. You just kind of run the product through your brow hairs, brushing it along as you go to give you a really precise look. I like that the the tip of it is so thin because no matter even if you have the thinnest brows out there, it's not going to be too thick for you, and it really gives you a lot of control. You can watch me do it here where you see that I just drag that along, mainly just drawing a line on the bottom and then a line on the top, and then kind of combing it through and filling it in as I go. I don't like to go all the way in toward my nose. I just kind of flick it in there a little bit or comb it up because I don't like that squared off look. So bear that in mind. If you do like that squared off look, you may want to drag that line in a little bit further toward the nose. Now I'm going to give myself an instant brow lift using our Snow Shadow Sense. I'm going to run it right along the inner part of my brow and on the outside of my brow, right at the tip. Do you see how I'm just placing it there? And then I'm going to take my foundation brush and just kind of blend that out. What this is going to do, it's instantly going to make my eyes look a lot higher and a lot brighter. For final touches, I'm going to conceal underneath my eyes just to brighten everything up and cover any dark circles that I have. I'm using a Shadow Sense in this case. I prefer either Pink Frost or Sandstone Pearl for this as a concealer. Because it dries to a powder finish, I can actually do this as a final step and I don't have to set it with a powder again. So I love that about our Shadow Sense. They're super versatile. Now I'm going to take that pink opal shimmer again, and I'm just going to put 2 teeny little dots right there in my tear ducts in the very, very center or corners of my eyes, just to really brighten everything up. It's going to give me a little pop of shimmer. It's going to make sure my eyes look nice and open and bright. For a fun fall lip to finish off this look, I'm going to use Bella and Bombshell Lip Sense. Remember, with lip sense, you want to shake it really good first. You want to do really thin layers. So wipe the excess off your wand and you'll go in the same direction. Think of it like nail polish. It's going to last between 4 and 18 hours. It's not going to come off on your cup. It's not going to come off on your husband. It's awesome stuff as long as you apply it correctly. If you don't apply it correctly, it's still going to look beautiful, but it just won't last as long. To give me a really crisp, clean line, I'm using our liner sense in the color Persimmon. This color really complements Bella, and it also is going to make my lips look perfect, nice and pristine. I like to do this step either after my first layer of lip sense or before my first layer of lip sense. It's not necessary to do 3 layers of lip liner. You can just do 1 if you prefer, or 2, whatever works for you. Now for our second layer of Bella, I'm going to kind of fast forward through this one because it's exactly the same as the first. Just make sure that you allow your first coat to dry thoroughly and you use really fine, thin coats. Now after letting that dry, I'm going in with Bombshell. This is a really pretty champagne-y gold color. It's going to bring some shimmer into my Bella lipstick. It's also going to kind of warm it up a little bit more for fall. It's a really pretty color combination. Now for the final touch, I'm going to gloss with my Rose Gloss. This has got 100% shea butter in it, so it's going to keep my lips nice and moisturized, and it's going to be all pretty and shiny. And there you have it, guys. The finished look, perfect for fall. What do y'all think?